Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. And if you do have a question that you just want to say, I can repeat it. I think that might work too, so whatever works for you. So thanks for being here. I'm so excited. You never know if you're going to get like 2 people or something. So I'm Elizabeth Thielen, as she said, and in my daytime job, I'm a public awareness worker surrounding problem gambling. So that may seem completely unrelated, and it's not. So if anybody wants to ask me how could that and rockhounding be related, ask me afterwards. So if you want to interact with the presentation, you are welcome to either scan the code with your phone or go to the website menti.com, which is menti.com, and then you'll put in that code up there without the spaces. So you're welcome to do that. You don't have to do that. You can just speak up and ask questions and make comments as you would like. So I'll just let that go for a minute until everybody is able to, who wants to. All right. Okay, so, oops.
You can talk to me.
Okay, so here's your first chance to put in a question or an answer. What is something cool that you found in your rockhounding and exploring? We have had some test answers put in already. So if you want to, you can put in what you have found. So we've got rocks, lava, fossils, minerals, any other cool things that you found? I see some people answering, so. We've got tourmaline, ooh, that would be great. Arrowheads, wonderful. All right, so we do have a lot of people who love to find things here. And so this little slide I thought would really kind of depict what I want to tell you right now. This is not going to be an academic lecture, okay? So don't ask me a lot of technical stuff because my motto is, I don't know stuff, I find stuff, okay? So the people who work here will probably tell you some greater details than I could provide. So I think if you were listening, you'd probably be able to answer this, but if you had to guess how many years that I've been prospecting, go ahead and throw that in your phone and we'll see if we're all in agreement here. Yeah, okay. So the answer is over 40 years. This is a picture of me and my siblings, not all of them, but some of them, in the mines over 40 years ago. So it's a lifelong hobby, and I've known many people who, they go when they're young and they just keep coming back, and then they bring their kids, and then they bring their grandkids, and that's really cool. So I do enjoy all manner of found things, including metal detecting, arrowheads. In the past, we used to have property in Cooperstown, New York, and in New York, you are allowed to collect if it's your own personal property. Antlers. This is me with a morel mushroom. So if I can, it's right around now, right, that we can try to go find those. Geode hunting, this is not one that I've found, and this looks like it could possibly be a dyed one. This is me hunting for actual diamonds. This is something I found at the diamond mines. Yeah, that's a black widow. So I always wear gloves, and I just happened to take my glove off and turn over a little clump of dirt, and there she was. So you can find all sorts of cool things when you're out there looking. This is my first diamond. So we're here to talk about Herkimer Diamonds, but I do get the question, have you ever gone actual diamond mining? And yes, I have. This is my first one. This was a 57 point, so there's 100 points per carat, so that's over a half carat. White, flawless. And then this was my second one. It's a 51 point yellow. And it's not flawless. It actually has a really cool little inclusion that I think makes it even more charming. So that's at the Crater of Diamonds Park in Arkansas, Murfreesboro, Arkansas. Okay, so question, what are Herkimers made of? If you want to answer, you're welcome to. Oh, we got a lot of people who know in the room. Silicon dioxide. Okay, you got it, guys. And then, why do they call Herkimer's diamonds? Does anybody want to try to answer that? I think there's a question on there. Yeah, we got some people answering. Inner fire, yes, they have this inner glow because of the faceting, natural faceting. So if you looked at the display case or you're going to go look at it afterwards, I get people asking me, oh, did you have those cut? Nope, that's how they come out. It's really, really cool because of the clarity and the shape. That's exactly it. And so here's an example of one that I found 2 trips ago, and it just came right out like that, just faceted, water clear, just gorgeous. So how old are Herkimer diamonds? This is approximate, about 350 million years old. And the source rock is about 500 million years old, and they think it took around 150 million years to form. So what is the source rock? Does anybody want to take a stab at that? And there's some examples over in the window there. Got dolomite. Any other guesses? Well, we've got some dolomite that you can look at, but it's actually dolostone. And me not knowing stuff, I looked this up. Dolostone is a fine-grained sedimentary rock composed primarily of dolomite, a calcium and magnesium carbonate mineral. It's similar to limestone and is in some cases formed secondarily from chemically altered limestone. And so there's a book over there I highly recommend if you're into this, and there's a quote in it, so true, calling Little Falls dolostone rock is like calling Kevlar cloth. So true, and I have the damage to all of my tendons and joints to prove it. This is just an example of the mine. You can see here some crystals poking out there, but how they typically form is in these little holes called vugs. And there are some examples. Actually, now would be a good time to start passing around the little trays that are at the front. So if somebody would grab that tray that's at the front and start passing it around, I've got some examples of things that I'm going to be talking about, including there is a quartz cluster in there, and you can see that typical quartz will grow from the source rock, so you're always going to have this one cloudy end. So I've got an example of that, and that's from Arkansas, where I've mined that myself. And then there's an example of a nice Herkimer that doesn't grow from the rock, it grows inside or away from the rock, so you can get that double termination and that beautiful clarity. But there is an example in each tray. Yep, that's an example of a vug that has Herkimer in it. And there's some really cool features that some of these rocks and these trays are going to have that you can look at when you pass those around. One is druzy. I love druzy. My stepmom loves druzy. So whenever I take a trip, it's like, bring me back some druzy for the garden. And she's got it all peppered throughout her garden, and it looks beautiful when the sun hits it. And there are some examples over there as well as in the display case. And it's the tiny quartz crystals that line the dolostone, especially inside of the vugs. You can have those. Twins are really cool, and the definition that our book says is they're actually crystals that impenetrate one another or are parallel in growth. I wanted to, afterwards you can come up and look. I keep these ones together because I actually found these together in one vug, and you can piece them together like a little jigsaw puzzle because they grew next to each other but kind of like did this as they were growing, and you can see where they fit together. So that's kind of cool. But there is an example of a twin in the tray that's going around, as well as skeletals. These are really cool. It's fenster quartz is what it's called, but it's where the edges of the crystal grow at the expense of the centers, and they look really different. I do have a couple of those somewhere in the collection. Inclusions. I love inclusions. Now, they look really great when they have no inclusions. They're just gorgeous, but each inclusion is unique. They can have solid inclusions, they can have liquid, and they can have gas. And then negative crystals, which are very, very cool. So the display that is under the microscope there that I hope you'll look at before you leave does have a channel with water in it and some sort of bubble of gas or something. And it also has negative crystals, which are like little crystal shapes that grow within the crystal. So that one is lined up right now perfectly to see that channel with the gas bubble in it. There are phantoms. So I do have an example of a phantom, and it's basically where there was some sort of hydrocarbon that was inside the crystal, and it kind of got trapped there. And the one that I have, you can see it mimics the shape of the crystal on the inside, and then the crystal kept growing around it. So when we're done, if you want to see that, we'll put it on top of the table in the sun, and if you look straight down at it, you can see the phantom. And it looks like somebody took graphite and just kind of drew in inside of the crystal. And then there are rainbows, several examples of rainbows. One of the trays coming around has an example of that, where petroleum or water gets in, and it just creates this beautiful effect here. Spheres. I have some samples there that have them, and I just couldn't find them really quickly. It is where there are these spherical voids that are caused due to degassing during the solidification of the crystal formation. This is just a picture of me at the mine with my hat and my safety glasses, which leads us into the discussion of if you're going, which I'm really hoping some of you will be going someday, is getting ready for it. So I do have some examples of tools up here that I take with me. I also have a kit at home in New York in case I have to fly and I can't bring my tools with me. But you're welcome to look at these, but I do recommend marking your gear because everything blends in with the rock, and all of a sudden you say, where are my tools? Or somebody walked off with them. And so it's really nice to be able to have it marked. I try to use like an orange duct tape so that I can spot it from far away. And then, let's see, knee pads, because you really get really bruised up. Gloves are so important, just so you know. Get good gloves, but don't get too good gloves because that rock is so abrasive, it's going to destroy whatever you are wearing on your hands. But it will destroy your hands if you don't use gloves. So, find a balance. Sunscreen and hat, it is a quarry. We call it a mine, and we all picture a mine as being something that, you're going to like a cave or something, but it is basically a quarry. You are in the sun without any relief. Bring water and snacks. Safety glasses, because the rock just goes flying as people are hitting it, and you really could damage your eyes. And then durable clothing. I do wear coveralls for as long as I can until I'm about to get heat stroke, so then I have to take them off. Let's see, tweezers, and I have a video where you'll be able to see where you can use tweezers to get stuff out of the vugs. A plastic spatula, because if you're scraping on top of a rock and you use a metal tool, you're going to damage the crystals. So I do bring a plastic spatula, a bucket, backpack, a cart would be great because you can't park at the mine entrance anymore unless you are handicapped, which is great because I've seen people at the mine in a wheelchair, which is awesome. And sometimes I'll even be like, here, open this. Thank you. And they're opening up really great rocks there. So you'll want to be able to, if you're lugging a lot of stuff, to have a little hand truck or something to carry it in. And then sharpen your tools, because remember what we said about that dolostone. It is so hard, and it will dull your tools really quickly, but if you start with them sharp, you're better off. And then I do have a short video to show you, just because my stepson, who couldn't be here today, is my little mining partner sometimes, and he's also my social media partner because I'm really not into it, don't understand it, but he makes videos for me that we can share with people who might be wanting to take a trip.
When getting ready for a trip to Herkimer Diamond Mines, you usually want to bring safety glasses, coveralls. They usually hand you a small hammer when you get there, but we like to bring a sledgehammer for the bigger rocks, a crowbar, a smaller hammer, a wedge, different kinds of chisels, a brush, and a scraping tool. Usually you don't want to bring metal scraping tools because it will scratch the surface of a Herkimer diamond, so you might want to bring plastic ones. One time we brought a plastic spatula, which works pretty good. And then you also want to bring a sifter to sift through the dirt and try to see if you can find the bigger ones. When getting ready for a trip to Herkimer Diamond Mines, you usually want to bring safety glasses.
There we go. And then if you want, I like to bring a Bluetooth speaker and listen to some music. They play music, and I don't even know where it came from. It's stuff you never heard of. It's worse than music, and it's over and over. So bring something you want to hear. A GoPro would be really cool. Some of the videos I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes, I apologize if you get motion sickness. Maybe don't look at them because I'm holding a a cell phone in the sun and it's shaking. So some people will wear a GoPro camera so that when they do open something up and something really cool is there, that they can look at that in the future and they can share it. You can bring a camera holder, like a little tripod, if you want to set it aside and while you're trying to work a spot. You can bring a companion, so I have some thoughts about this. This is my stepson, who is a great mining companion because, I'll tell you why, but choose your mining partners wisely. This one's a good one. So the pro is that they can keep you hydrated and eating. I tend to get so in the zone that I won't drink anything, I won't eat anything, I won't go use the restroom. The cons of having people with you, they can distract you, they ask questions, they get in your way, they want to leave, they go, "You're bleeding, who cares, I'm in the zone," you know. So pros and cons to that. There's certain people I've learned I can't bring with me and other people who I can tolerate, and sometimes they're helpful. So options for collecting. You can surface collect. So if you feel like you want to go but you don't know if you want to drag all this there, bring yourself and sunscreen, you know. But you can surface collect and you can find a lot of great things, because when people like me are just busting open rocks, crystals literally go flying. And so if you're just moving around some rubble, poking around in the dirt, you can find some really amazing crystals. And sometimes when my hands stop working and I can't feel them anymore, I'll just take a break and I will wander around and surface collect for a little bit. And sometimes I'm finding the things that I, sent flying. So that's an option. The people at the mines will recommend as a first timer that you might break some small rocks. And an example would be a rock of that size with the little hammer that they give you. And you can open those and there can be something in it. So that is an option. For me, what I prefer is getting into the bedrock. And so the way that works is it's a good 45 minutes of clearing rubble before you can even see the bedrock. And then trying to get deep and find some bigger crystals. You could also just go to the gift shop, because that's a slam dunk. So other processes, pick a spot. So I will tell you how this works for me, which is obsess about it. Sometimes look at some aerial photos, what I want to do, but they bulldoze periodically, so you don't even know what the mine's going to look like when you get there. But I always get there early, well before they open, so that I can be the first in the mine. And then somebody's breathing down your neck. So you're like, okay, so you're dragging your tools and you're quickly try to find a spot that you want to try to work, and then clear all the rubble. And then you really want to keep it clean and clear, because one, for safety, I've seen many people take a spill in the mines and you're not falling onto a carpet, you're not even falling onto some pavers, you're falling onto rough rock, and people can get really hurt. So you want to keep your area clean and clear as much as possible, and you want to look for horizontal fissures in the rock. This is the best way that I've found to find great crystals. You can hammer a chisel into any of the cracks that you find, and then you can use a larger tool like a wedge or smaller chisels kind of stacked on top of each other, create bigger fissures. Use the large sledge. So sometime, and you'll see a video of that, this thing wasn't budging. I was like, I'm just gonna, make some cracks then. Sweep and clean the debris. Again, try to keep everything clear, and then use the crowbar to lever when you can. And then I say wait for it, because if you get in and you get that crowbar underneath something and you lift it up, it makes a sound that is so awesome, and never hear it anywhere else. It's this really great crack, and I do have a video where you can kind of hear that. This is an example of one of my work spots. This is me in the middle of the mine. See what I said? You do not want to take a spill there, right? And I want to say, that's my little guy over there too, so can be a family event. And then I love this picture because this is a before and after picture. So this is one, I did get a horizontal fissure underneath that slab, and then I was able to move that with the crowbar, and underneath it, this is what was there. And it was actually wet, so the water had seeped in there, and there were crystals just in this mud clay. It was really great. I do recommend getting low in the mine. I've found larger crystals the lower you go in the mine. And so here's my first video to show you, and I won't show you the whole thing in the interest of time, because I do want to make sure that we have enough time to look at stuff and have lots of questions and answers and discussion. But I want to show you how stubborn this rock is, okay? And don't judge me. There's many times where I don't even hit that chisel. And you can see it's broken. One of our guests here has used the chisels with the handguard. Handguard's gone. I've already broken it off. And then when you just hit your hand. So I'm hitting the rock an awful lot. You know, this must be later in the day. I'm awfully tired here. But you can see just how darn hard and stubborn this is. So I'll probably skip ahead a little bit. There's a spot where I get really tired of it and bring out a big sledgehammer. I think this is it. It's like, okay, I'm tired of you. Bring out the big sledge. Nope, that's the crowbar. So you can see, hopeful, right? It's moving. Oh, maybe it's going to move. No, it's not going to move. No, no. Oh, yeah, it's already been bent. I need a new crowbar. I need a bigger crowbar. Yeah, and I throw the crowbar. Forget it. That didn't work. Clear off the top a little bit. See if I maybe can get around the side to some stuff that's wedging that in there. Clear the debris. If you come down on top of a bunch of debris with your sledgehammer, all of that fine particle is just going to absorb all of the force of your sledge. So you really do want to try to sweep it clear if you're going to be hammering from the top. Plus, if you did get in here and lift it up, all that debris is going to fall down in and you're going to lose some crystals from that. So then I think this is where I get real tired of it and just bring out the large. Yep. So it's like, would you please open? Yep. Yep. And so we'll try again. Did that help? It did help, right? So it's moving a little bit more. But spoiler alert, I didn't even get in. Not on this video. I did get in. So that just gives you an example. This is hard work, but there's nothing like it. So you do want to remove the overburden before lifting the slab if you do get in there, and try to lift or flip rather than dragging it, because you'll just be dragging it across the crystals that might be underneath. And then remove any loose crystals that are just sitting there. And then a lot of times once I do lift a ledge, I set it aside, and then when I need a break from what I'm doing, I'll use the large sledge to break that down and see if there's anything within it. And so here's another example of some hammering. So hopefully we get in this time. Let's see. And I am going to skip ahead because nobody wants to just see hammering for this long. And I do try to lever a few times. So you can see, and it's hard. What you don't see is that this whole area here, there's obstructions. There's a lot of other rock that really I should have just cleared it a lot further in order to get more leverage in there. And then sometimes your chisel gets stuck and you have to hit it from the side to get it out and then place it again. Oh, okay, so let's listen. Okay, almost. Hear that? Okay, so that wasn't a real good one, but sometimes it's a big, you know, it comes all at once. But check this out. Yep. And then you look and you see, did any kind of just fall out when I lifted that? Yeah. Yep. Isn't that great? And then there are some peeking out that you can kind of see there, and I think I was trying to move the camera to show you that in a minute here. But again, remember what I said, like it's in the full sun. So sometimes if you're trying to even just capture this on the camera, you can't, you know, see very well anyway. But yeah, there was a nice crystal right in there. And now we'll just stop before everybody gets motion sickness. So I have another quick video to show you. And I think I'm using the tweezers in this one. Yes. So hang on, I'm going to pause this. Who's my volunteer right here? I need a volunteer. Who can count? Can you count? You can count. Okay, so as I pull crystals out, I want you to count them and yell it out loud, like 1, 2, okay? So let's see how many crystals are in this little vug here.
One,
Thank you. There's 1.
2,
Yep. There's 2.
3.
Yep. And you can see some iron inclusion or covering with that. That's 4.
5,
That's 5. I think that may be it. No, there's more in there. Again, with the camera. So sorry, guys. This is why I need to bring a GoPro next time. Just some really cool stuff. All right, so thank you for being such a good assistant. All right, so territorial much? Yes, I am. So if you see me at the mine, say hi, and then just go away, you know. But especially if I'm ready to take a break, don't, you know, hesitate to ask for some help or some tips. I'm happy to do that. But I do get really territorial. So let's talk a little bit about mining etiquette. Don't step in someone's dig area. I cannot tell you how many people have done that. And then when they bring the big bus and it's like a bunch of Boy Scouts come, no, and they're just all over the place. So don't step in someone's dig area. Don't walk above someone's dig area because you can knock rubble into what they're doing. Don't touch finds without permission. Kids, that happens. I've had grown adults say, cool, and take a crystal that I hadn't even touched yet. I just had unearthed it, and cool. No, you're a grown adult, don't do that. Don't borrow tools. Please no. I've seen people do that. I've seen people break other people's tools. And then don't dominate a miner's time, but do learn from other people. I think everybody loves to talk about what they do and share it, but not at the expense of being able to do it. But there's something else that we should know. There are no claims, at least where I go. There is a mine that you can go and get a claim, and you can keep that area, and you can tarp it off and everything. But where I go, there are no claims, so it really is a matter of being respectful of where you see somebody is working. You're not going to go in where they're working. Do stay off the ledges and be safe, because there's ledges all the way around. And this is me being territorial and maybe being a little bit too caught up. I am worried about people getting hurt, but I'm worried about them shutting down the mine if somebody gets really hurt. I'm gonna be really mad if you get yourself hurt on a ledge and then I have to leave for that reason. So, and then do share your excitement and your knowledge if you get into this and you go. So what are you gonna do with your crystals? You can keep them in the matrix. That's really cool to be able to do that. If you find one that's stuck in a rock and you're able to bring that rock with you, do it. Don't try to get it out. They display really nicely that way. You can display them on druzy. That's a really nice way to show them. You can have them set in jewelry. The trays that have gone around, each one has an example of them set in some way. Like here's one that I got set. Keep them in your pocket. I always, if we ever had a contest in any room, like who has the oldest thing in their pocket, it's always gonna be me. Although, it might be her, because she's got a stromatolite on her, and we'll talk about that. And then give them away. So I love giving away Herkimers. I love spreading the joy of this place. And if you do stick around afterwards and ask questions and look at everything, I do have some giveaways on this front table up here. I don't sell them. Long story short, I was asked, please come to this rock and mineral show. We're so excited about Herkimers. We don't have them here. And I was excited that people were excited. And then I was like, well, I need to go to Arkansas. This will fund my trip. So I sold a bunch of crystals and I went home and I was heartbroken. I was like, oh, my crystals. And then there were certain ones that I felt like an affinity to, and I'll never see them again. So I will never, ever, ever sell them again. But I'm not saying you shouldn't, but there is something to me that's aggravating when you're in the mine and you're finding for the love and the joy of it, and right next to you is somebody who's like filling an Etsy shop or something. So anyway, it's up to you. So this is really a quick little video when I moved and I set up my display case again, how we put it back together, and we posted this on TikTok. So however you want to display them, show them off. Don't keep them hidden away. Oh, and so as I mentioned, we do have a TikTok page that my stepson manages because I wouldn't be able to figure it out. And when we got a certain number of followers, we sent a gift to the 500th or whatever, 100th, I don't know. And he sent us a little video of him opening it alongside the video that we had posted of us putting together the package. So that was kind of sweet. I'll play that for you. So you can have fun with it and connect with other rockhounds around the world by doing something like that. So where to go? This is my preference, Herkimer Diamond Mines and KOA Campground. It's in Middleville, New York. For me, it's the best place. It's where I've been going since I was a kid. I absolutely love it there. This is called a glamping pod. We got this last time we went. Don't recommend it to bring you and 2 queens, which is what I did. And we stayed in here. So it's really lovely, but I think it is more for 1 or 2 people. But they do have camping cabins, which was what we're going to be doing in June. Or you can tent camp. The glamping pods are really cute. Camping cabins, okay, so this was the museum, and we don't talk about that anymore, but it was squirrels. Squirrels did that, some sort of electric fire, and that was, so the only silver lining here is that with whatever insurance or whatever, the property rebuilt a really nice gift shop and a cafe, and there's a nice sluicing station for the kids. So they did do their best to come away from that tragedy, because there were just some amazing specimens that went up in flames there. This is me with my rock club. We actually went together, and it was really neat to be able to share that experience with people who had never been there before. But this is the entrance to the mines, and as I said, you can see the road going down there, and you need to carry all your gear down there. So the amenities of that location, as I said, the gift shop, the cafe, the sluicing station, there is camping and a pool across the street. They even have a mining camp for young people where they'll bring you in guided, they'll get you the goggles, they'll get you the hammers, and they'll show you what to do. That's nice. And they do have free appraisals and oohs and ahs. So if you bring in your finds, they will say, ooh, look at that, ooh, this one's worth $50. And it's kind of a fun way to, round out the end of your trip. There are other things to do in the area, but I don't know why you would, but if you wanted to, the Baseball Hall of Fame isn't too far away. Cooperstown Lake is beautiful. I have found some amazing fossils there, so that could be a draw. Howe's Cavern is an underground cave system with a boat ride where you're in an underground river, which is really cool, and all the stalactites and stalagmites are lit up. And you can fossil hunt. They even do have a fossil hunting collection place. I've never been able to make myself not go to Herkimer in order to go there, but it would be really cool because there's other things to find. So stromatolites are one thing that you can find in the area. I do have one to show you if you would like to pass it around. It's not the best one. Could you grab this for me and pass it around? Just hand it to the next person. That is a stromatolite is the old, and I'm looking at her because she's the expert. It's the oldest evidence of life on Earth. And they can be, okay, just pass that on. They can be billions of years old. That's how old stromatolites can be. But you can also find, I've found a number of trilobites in the area, but Eurypterus is the New York State fossil. It is called the sea scorpion, and it's adorable with its little paddle hands. I've never found one, but they can be up to 6 feet tall, or they could be little. But that would be a really neat thing to find. So the metaphysics, I had people ask about this. Again, I find stuff, I don't know stuff. So, but I have been told that they can give somebody clarity, that they're energizing. Actually, they are energizing to me because I get a little manicky when I talk about it or when I get to do it. I've been told that if you wear moldavite, you better be wearing some Herkimer with it. I don't know why, but you're supposed to. And then there is a brand of vodka, and I think it's by Dan Aykroyd, that he filters through Herkimer Diamonds. Don't know why. I don't drink, so I don't get it, but okay. And then this is Meghan Markle, right? Merkel. She had been wearing some really beautiful jewelry that people said, what is that? It was Herkimer Diamonds, so that was neat. And then this is a picture of the First Lady of Japan with the woman who owns the mines. I will say this woman to the left, her name is Dr. Renee something, and I always forget the N. But she is a lovely ambassador for Herkimer Diamonds. She is just dripping in Herkimers everywhere she goes, but she will ooh and ah over your finds too. And that's just a really lovely way to run a really cool place. And then all the way to the right is her father, who still works the counter, and really, really cool. Going back to that, herkimerdiamond.com is the website if you want to learn more about this particular place to collect or go mining. The book that I recommend, there's an example of that over there that you can look at. And you could follow us on TikTok. As I said, from time to time, we'll send a giveaway to one of our followers, and you'll see videos from the mines. You can join a rockhounding forum, and that's kind of fun, especially if you're really into rockhounding. The winter months are really hard. It's hard to get through not to be able to participate in that activity. So you can kind of get through the winter by going on a rockhounding forum and see what other people are posting about and finding in some warmer climates. You can join an Earth Science Club, a rockhounding club. Asconi is the Earth Science Club of Northern Illinois. I joined them and got to go on a trip to Thornton Quarry, which is a really neat place to find some good fossils in a limestone quarry. And best of all, go and find stuff. And I think this is my last video. And see how I lifted that off? If I had dragged that, I might have damaged those crystals. And again, sorry for the shaky camera work. But look up in that vug right there. Look at what's going on in there. And I could probably show you that one over here. What's kind of cool is you start to remember some of them have unique characteristics, and you remember where you found them, what trip you were on, that sort of thing. Look at this guy. Yep, that was a twin. I should have had my partner calling them out, how many we found. And look at how many are in that one spot. And there's another one back there. You see that big one back in there? There it is. Look at that. So all in one thing. Now, how many hours did it take to break into there? 2 to 3. Worth it. Very worth it. And you see how I'm digging in there with my fingers? That's how you start getting all scraped up, and then the next day you're washing your hair. Ow! So you want to try to use tweezers, but then you could scrape the crystals, so it's a little bit difficult to find the best way to do it. So now is, I think, your last question, but the question is, how much do you want to go prospecting at Herkimer Diamond Mines? Let's see if you see what our answers are. The first option is, I'll let somebody else do the digging, thank you. It was nice to meeting you, and I'm leaving right now to go to the mines. Or, it's going on my bucket list. I think I heard that already. And then, sounds fun, maybe if I'm ever in the area. All right, so I think for quite a few people, it is on your bucket list. So this is where you can ask me anything. And if you ask me out loud, no problem. I will repeat it so that we have it on the audio. Or you can ask a question, and your question will pop up on the screen.
Is there more than the 2 mines in the United States?
Yes, so are there more than the 2 mines in the United States? So in Herkimer, there's a number of mines that you can go to. I like this one. Ace of Diamonds is right up the road. It is one that allows for claims. I don't find it to be as safe for kids as far as the how they maintain the property. But you can find some really large crystals there. So that's a good place. There's a place, and I think it's called Crystal Grove. I could be wrong, and it's about 45 minutes away, but you can find some excellent druzy there. I found the crystals to be very brittle. So I've gone there just for druzy and try to find my crystals at this place. As far as other places to collect other types of minerals, like actual diamonds, there is the Crater of Diamonds in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. And then you can search, and we had one of our guests already searching, where can I rockhound in Montana? That's what you do. Just Google it, and you'll find places that you're allowed to collect. There is a place, Mount Ida is in Arkansas, where you can collect some clusters of quartz, and I have some examples here for you that I've gone mining there. So there's places all over our country where you can do that sort of thing. And then you had a question? Good question. So the question was, is there any equipment that you're not allowed? You're not allowed to bring any power tools. And boy, would I love to bring like a jackhammer or something. And they do have professional miners. So they have an area that they have cordoned off that are for the professional miners. And this is where I'm going to brag a little bit. So not my last trip, but the trip before, I was working in an area kind of adjacent to where the professional miners were, and we're having small talk. And then, if you start swinging a sledgehammer enough, you get a little bit of respect. So they're like, okay, she knows what she's doing, and then we're having good conversation. So then on my last day, they said, well, how did you do? And, let me show you. And I pull out my finds, and they said, you found more than we found. I'm like, well, you mean you get paid to do this, but I've been doing this way longer than you have. So. That lovely lady that I mentioned, she's even said to me, maybe you should come work for me and be my first female miner. And I'm like, you wouldn't want me working for you because I would not give any of these back to you. I would just take them and run, and I don't know. So anyway, that's a good question. Thank you.
When you climb an area, when you get to the park, do you stay there?
Okay. Good question. So that's a really tough call. Do you keep the area that you start, that you try to scope out or claim when you get there? It's almost like a relationship. How much time have I devoted to this, and do I move on? Or so it is something where if I've spent a lot of time on something, I might give it a little bit more effort. But if it is just not paying out and I'm not finding anything, I will pick up, and sometimes I'll leave a little stuff there, so like leave it alone, and then I'll scope out and see if there's a more promising area. I'll take just a hammer and a chisel so I can go, how is this rock? Because that dolostone, as I said, is very, very hard, and it's more cooperative in some areas than others. Some areas it's so stubborn and it is not budging. There's some fissures that you can cultivate. And so if I find a spot where I feel like I might be able to get in there, then I run back, grab all my stuff, pack it up, and drag it over there. Yeah, good question. What other questions do we have? What's that? Go ahead. What's your question?
Are you allowed to bring,
No. Okay, are you allowed to bring jackhammers? No. But one thing I should have said, when you go to a place like that, you pay an entrance fee, and last time I was there it was $12. And everything you find, you keep. And so I think that's great exercise. It's a great return on investment. Several of the trips I've taken, they've told me that I've found several $1,000s worth of crystals again. I don't care because I'm not selling them ever again. But it is a really great opportunity to do something for a very low cost, especially, I mean, we're 6 of us, you know, and so you're paying admission fee for parents and that many kids. That's something you could do all day long. They're open from 9 to 5. I get it mixed up because one of the other mines I go to is 8 to 4. Go ahead.
What are the seasons that they're open?
So what season are they open? The one that I go to is open from May 1st, I think, through Halloween. Yep, and early in the year, it's not great to go to. It's very often all of the snow and everything has melted, and the mines, the part where you would want to mine or I would want to mine is underwater. And so I try to wait till later in the summer. Honestly, the best time is probably August, but the very, very best time is after the kids go to school. So September, so that you can have the mines a little bit more to yourself. So what I think I'd like to do is end the formal part so that we can then wander around, pick stuff up, ask questions, look in the microscope, and then after you kind of go through there, I want to mention this middle section right here. These are some things that I have found that are giveaways, and some of them I haven't found. They've been given to me like at a rock club meeting or something. So that middle table, you know, on this side of the tools, but not this. These are giveaways, so you like it, take it. And so we'll just end it. And thank you very much for coming, and I hope I'll see you over here to chat more. Thank you.